Get ready guys, 10 seconds to go. 5. Sir, I have listened with great interest the discussion on this motion. There are 3 definitely important points in the report of the select committee. One is about the raising of the age of the boy as well as of the girl. The second point is about the nature of the punishment. Whereas in the original act the punishment is fine or imprisonment, what is being sought here is that the punishment will be substantial punishment plus fine. The third point is about the nature of investigation into offences under this act. It is said that offences should be cognizable, bailable and non-compoundable. I agree, sir, that the intention of the honourable member who is in charge of this bill is undoubtedly good. I share his enthusiasm for social progress. I also share the view that now that this government is a government of the people, instead of taking a neutral attitude on such matters, the government should take a definite and positive attitude. But in social matters, especially when they concern not a few, not a section, not a class here and there, but practically the whole community, it is only wisdom that we should move with a little caution. In 1929, when the original act was passed, the government of the day undoubtedly laid down a great principle. When it was sought to oppose this particular bill by the orthodox section of the House on the ground that this House had no jurisdiction to interfere in matters social and religious, it was definitely laid down that when there is a great and corroding evil and there is a promising remedy, it was the duty of the government to remove it by legislation. Undoubtedly, in the year 1929, the evil was very great, and so great was it that even a foreign government felt that it would be justified in interfering with what was obviously a social matter. But things have definitely changed. In the course of the last 20 years, there has been a steady progress and understanding of this problem. No social reform can be abiding in its effect if it merely rests on fear and not on conviction. If people concerned should know that child marriage is a great evil, it is far better that it should be left to them to carry out this reform voluntarily. In 1929, the original bill was passed, and then in the year 2006, there was an amendment. The amending bill was brought by Mr. Lal Chand, and a few days after, another bill was introduced and to some extent in a modified form was also passed. The credit went to my honorable and old friend Mr. B. Das. The real remedy then, it was pointed out, was not to make the offence cognizable, but provision should be made that a marriage in breach of provisions of that act would be considered invalid, null and void. That was a radical remedy. It was there pointed out that That was a radical remedy, no doubt, but not a promising remedy, and in the long run, the consequences that would follow would be disastrous. The object of the social reformer would be frustrated. It was then agreed that the bill was much in advance of public opinion, and this particular provision was not pressed by the Congress party, which was then in opposition. But certain other matters were taken into consideration, and one of them was that in the original bill provision was made that if the marriage in contravention of the particular provisions of that act was celebrated in British India, then only it was an offence. By the subsequent amendment, the jurisdiction became extraterritorial in the sense that if the marriage against the provisions of this act was celebrated in any territory outside British India, it was also considered as an offence. From stage to stage, amendments have been effected always with a view to seeing that we are not considerably in advance of public opinion. The present position, sir, is this. So far as the educated and upper classes are concerned, the problem is not of age of marriage, the problem is of marriage itself. I doubt whether girls are married even at 17 or 18. So that section of the community has practically little to gain from the contemplated piece of legislation. As regards the masses, what happened immediately after this original 1929 bill was introduced? It will be very interesting to note, sir, that this was written by one of the newspapers in West Bengal. So far as the attitude of the government is concerned, I want to make it quite clear that government will not agree to the raising of the age either of the boy or the girl as it has been reported by the select committee. The age of the boy is being raised to 20, which is a jump of only 2 years.